Telecom TV.
Telecom TV's where ICT connects.
You're watching Telecom TV. Hello, I'm Martin Warwick and I'm here with Simon Dredge, who is the Director Technical Marketing with Metaswitch. Simon, welcome. Let's begin at the beginning. Tell us about Metaswitch. What does it do?
Thanks, Martin. Yeah, Metaswitch is a dynamic multinational company with over 700 employees around the globe, including in multiple offices right here in the Asia Pacific region. Now, we've been historically successful selling telephony application servers in the wireline marketplace, but more recently we've started to leverage that expertise and take the company more global and leverage that telephony application server within the wireless marketplace, specifically to deliver things like hosted business services. And indeed, it's one of our three key product areas that we are leveraging in order to deliver new applications and services in the wireline and the wireless market space.
Okay, thank you. There's a lot of buzz in the market about hosted services, hosted business services. We're in the APAC region, you say, we're here in Singapore at the moment. Is the APAC region particularly fruitful for hosted business services? Why is it good for it?
Yeah, I think it's actually primed for hosted business services. I mean, the cloud is obviously very hot right now, and naturally in this region there is a prevalence of mobile phones, and as we know, smartphones are getting ever more prevalent, and the workforce is becoming increasingly mobile. So there's a big demand to actually deliver business services both on a classic landline phone and to the mobile handset as well. And again, that's never more than in the Asia region.
Okay, well, yes, Simon, you would say that, all companies would say that, but give us some positive examples, some customer wins.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, actually, in this region, we've just announced a successful customer win with a company called Callstream out of Australia, delivering competitive voice application services for business and residential customers. So right there, there's some empirical evidence in this region that there's real demand for hosted business services.
Now, you have a product called Service Broker. Tell us about that. What does it do and what do carriers get from it?
Sure. Well, Service Broker actually enables a migration from today's telephony networks to next generation network and network architectures. What it essentially does, it sits in the middle of the network and it has hooks into classic AIN and ISUP signaling mechanisms and SIP signaling mechanisms that are used in next generation networks. And it also has hooks into the application layer, WIN and also Web 2.0 API interfaces. So what it actually enables you to do is deliver new applications in old networks and old applications in new networks. So it really does provide that transition from today's networking infrastructure to tomorrow's network infrastructure. And indeed, just recently we announced a customer, again, in this region, Chugwar Telecom, who is using the Service Broker to do exactly that.
Now, at Communication 2011 at Singapore, you gave a speech, a talk on how service providers can actually combat the threat which is posed by the OTT players, the Googles, the Facebooks of this world. A lot of people talk about that as well. Tell us how so. How can they combat this threat?
Yeah, that's a great question. In actual fact, it's a subject that we're absolutely passionate about, keeping the service providers relevant in today's market when there's all these over-the-top players contending for space in the minds of the mobile subscriber and on the handset as well. So again, we are delivering applications and services as well as network infrastructure platforms that really do help the carrier combat the threat of these OTT providers.
Well, you say that, but this threat's been around for quite a while now, and a lot of service providers have failed to rise to it, I would put to you. Do you think it's a little bit too late for them, for many of them? Because I mean, they've gone out with these free services, these all-you-can-eat deals, and all the rest of it. And the net result has been the people have eaten all they can eat, and they're still eating it. And a lot of carriers have basically been relegated to the status of just dumb pipe providers, even if they claim not to be. And I deal with these people all the time and say, oh no, we're not one of them. But nearly all of them are.
You know what? The carriers have got to act fast, they've got to act now. You know, there's going to be a certain number of consumers where, you know, free always beats all. These are the people who are going to find that free Wi-Fi hotspot and fire up Skype and make that crackly call home. There's always going to be those people out there, but there is a large number of consumers and very lucrative business customers who are just crying out for a carrier-hosted offering, and that's really what Metaswitch is delivering in two ways. We are delivering a network-based solution revolving around RCS standards, rich communication suite standards, and 3GPP offerings. So that's network components that enable carriers to deliver rich communications using those standards-based techniques. Of course, that relies on having an IMS network deployed. So, in the meantime, and this is what really enables carriers to act now, we've also launched a service we call Through2, which is a pure cloud-based service that carriers can franchise. It's available now to consumers on the Android market, and we host that on the Amazon Elastic Compute Cloud.
So what's the take-up of it like? I mean, you say they've got to act now, they are acting now. What's the take-up been like, and what effect does it have on the service providers when they do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we launched the service in March, beginning of March, and as of right now, there are over 100,000 users of the service already. That's 100,000 people have downloaded this application from the Android market. And it's early days, but we have empirical evidence already that we are doubling the amount of time a person stays on a phone call when that phone call is Through2 enabled. And that's because we're enabling them to share rich contextual information, location information, photos, contact information, play games, search the web together. And that is increasing the call hold times.
Final question to you, what next for Metaswitch then? What are you going to do after this?
Well, again, we are continuing to be focused on those three key product areas. That is voice applications and infrastructure, session scaling, and also what we call the fourth generation of communications, and that includes the RCS components that I spoke about. We are continuing to drive those three product areas into both the wireline market space and obviously more recently the mobile market space around the globe.
Okay, good stuff, well done. Simon Dredge, thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Telecom TV. Telecom TV's where ICT connects.
Watching Telecom TV.